Well, hello. I got to look over here. That's where the camera is. I was looking at Gio, who was cueing me. This is SoCal Prep Report. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We got great guests. We're going to talk about San Pedro flag football. Victor Tuberosi, their head coach. He brings Jenna Ortega, the quarterback, with him. We'll have them on momentarily. A little later in the show, the coach at Taft in Woodland Hills, first year, Fred Emmerson. Pretty good guy, doing a good job. He's got this air raid offense. They throw it all the time. And who do they throw it to? Lior Leshem. He's with us as well. Speaking of who's with us, how about Tarek Fatal? Tarek, what are you, hiding?
Oh, I thought the shot was on me. No, we're good. We're good. It's another week of high school football. I think we're getting into league play, right?
Yeah.
So you got teams that know each other. Getting wins is a little bit more difficult, but there are some teams that are still out there unbeaten.
All right, let's talk about some football games, then we'll get to our guests. We'll start out with top-ranked Mater Dei. Even though they're in the Trinity League, it didn't make any difference. They absolutely demolished Servite 49-0.
Yeah, the usual suspect up top, number one team in the country, the Monarchs. I don't see anyone stopping them. However, if there is a team, it's October 13th. I know we'll talk about that next week, St. John Bosco.
Speaking of St. John Bosco, they demolished their opponent. It's the same old story. They went up against Santa Margarita. It's got a good football team, but not good enough. St. John Bosco kills them 42-7.
The good thing about St. John Bosco is Caleb Sanchez, the quarterback. We're talking about in an era where we see a lot of players that don't want to wait for their time. Caleb Sanchez is someone that waited and waited and waited, and now he's a senior starting quarterback, and the Braves are pretty good.
I fixed my collar in the interim. Did you see? I was off camera. They got the collar fixed.
Isn't the point not to bring that stuff up? So the people at home never know?
They got to know. We have truth serum here. We got to tell it like it is. All right, Sierra Canyon 34-10 over Notre Dame of Sherman Oaks. This game was close for a while.
It was. Actually, that was surprising. You're right. I think it was only a touchdown difference at halftime. Evan Yabu's the new coach at Notre Dame and clearly got the program working in the right direction. However, I don't see the Trailblazers losing a game in the league. If they do, maybe it's Sarah of Gardena. Speaking
of not losing, Moore Park never loses. They were tested by our favorite team, Newberry Park, who I think is the most exciting team in high school football.
Ryan Husengay is the coach over at Moore Park. This was a team down 21-0 and 28-7 at one point. They come back. They actually get a two-point conversion to go up. And this is the final play of the game as Newberry Park is attempting to go down the field and win the game. Isaac Velasquez, the junior, an interception and pick six. The Musketeers still unbeaten and 6-0. They are in the Canyon League.
Yeah, they're a very good football team. Nobody talks about the Musketeers enough. They should get the credit they so richly deserve. You have a comment on that?
I was just going to say, last time they were good, Drake London. That's the last time they were really good.
Pretty good football player in his own right, doing well in the NFL. Birmingham in the city section took it to Granada Hills 31-0. This was supposed to be the game in the West Valley. Of course, we got Taft and El Camino tomorrow night, which is the real game in the West Valley.
Yeah, so, listen, as a media member at the beginning of my career, you'd have to be careful about what you say. It's like, look, Birmingham's a defending three-time city champion. They are the team to beat in the West Valley League. This was supposed to be the game that was the most challenging, and it ended up not being the case.
The best game maybe LA 36 has had maybe in 10 years. There was a great Garfield-Roseville game many years ago on this station. But last week, El Camino, Chatsworth at Birmingham came down to the final play, Birmingham leading 28-27. This is fun. Here's the play. Here's the pitch to Rameau. Close. He didn't get in. He didn't get in.
Oh, my God.
El Camino has won the football game.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
They're celebrating on homecoming. The Royals somehow.
Oh, my goodness.
By inches, he didn't get in.
How did that happen?
You see the emotion on a John who's just spent. Pretty good finish. Tarek, your thoughts?
I'm just saying, hey, I'm not a football coach, but I know Coach Emmerson's watching right now, and he's thinking low man wins, and that's what happened right there. The low man got low. The defenseman got lower and stopped the guy at the goal line.
Coach is thinking, should have kicked the field goal.
Yeah, now that's true.
But I don't disagree with what Coach Street did. You got a great running back who rushed for 258 yards in that game. Give him the football. I get that. Speaking of football, flag football, and then we'll get to our flag football guests. How about Newport Harbor? They're 20-1. They've won 11 in a row, and they're ranked #1 in the country, Newport Harbor.
Yeah, that's impressive. And again, I think we've been saying this all year long. We were saying it in the spring. The second flag football became a sanctioned sport, we knew it would be popular. We knew it would get high participation. And now we're seeing rankings in the sport. I think it's a shame the Southern Section doesn't have a flag football championship.
Like the
but
city
the city does.
And we're going to have them right on TV right here at LA 36. By the way, Newport Harbor, #1 in the country. That's Max Preps. And who knows who's good around the country in flag football. But currently, Newport Harbor is #1 in the nation. Maybe #1 in the LA City section, however, is San Pedro. We have Victor and Jenna joining us now, coach and star quarterback. Coach, I know you're excited. You feel confident about your football team, and you've seen a lot of growth early on your Pirate team. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, Randy. Appreciate it.
All right, what about the growth? Why have you improved so much so early?
They're just learning the philosophy of the game, Randy, more than anything. I think they're learning the speed of the game and more how to play as a team. It's very important. I'm watching that as they continue to grow over the weeks. They started in the middle of August, and now I see progression, more progression. But ultimately, it's their want, Randy.
Jenna, let's talk about you at the quarterback position. What's the most fun part of playing quarterback, other than throwing touchdowns? Talk about what you enjoy most about the position.
I think the most fun part is like getting to work with everyone on offense, because like everyone, I know I can trust them to catch the ball wherever I put it.
You guys are a good team. Earlier in the year, you lost to Eagle Rock, but then you played them again and you won. What's probably the most improved aspect of this San Pedro team? Every time you line up, where do you see your team getting better?
I think we get better at everything. We did really good on defense the second game, and I think everyone just went an open spot on offense, so they made it easier for me to get a touchdown.
Victor, you know, these young ladies are new to the game, as you stated. Has it been easy for you to teach the girls? Are they eager to learn about the sport and improve?
Yes, Randy, as I said earlier, they continue to grow. When we first started, I had to explain what the goal line was, and now I'm watching them tell me what plays to call, and their desire and want out there to do it right more than anything and learn about the game is what I see most as a coach, that there's so much more room for improvement. And I've watched them improve from the first Eagle Rock game to the second Eagle Rock game and further on as the season continues to go on.
All right, Jenna, let's talk about Jenna, the quarterback, and how much you've learned. What has been the hardest thing for you to learn about the quarterback position? And when you walk off the field, what are you most proud of your accomplishment and what you have learned about being the quarterback?
I think the hardest part was learning like all the rushing rules, like where I can go because of the line of scrimmage and everything. Yeah, but the part I'm like proud of is to learn a lot and getting to work with everyone.
I know you said before we started the show you're a softball player, so we know you got an arm. But at what point, kind of taking you back a little bit, what point did you hear about girls flag football and think, I want to play that? Was it something that you learned and thought of on your own, or did a friend have to recruit you to play on the San Pedro team?
At first I heard about it from some of my softball teammates, and then over the summer I was just thinking about it, and then I went to tryouts, and it was really fun.
Coach, I know you're 12-2. You've had a terrific year. One of your losses early in the season was to Eagle Rock. You avenged that in the championship game of a tournament. Talk about that little rivalry you got going with Eagle Rock right now.
Yeah, we knew they were a good team. I had read an article earlier in the season, before the season started, about their star athlete Weatherspoon and Eagle Rock being a power in the city. So when we went out there to play them, it was tough for us the first time. They're a very good football team, man. You know, we made a couple of adjustments as a coach, as a team. But more than anything, it's the group of girls, the way they're starting to play together. That's what I see the difference. They're not individuals. They're a team. And collectively as a team, I have multiple athletes from different sports that play, and I'm very fortunate that the other coaches at the school allow us and allow their athletes to perform in other sports. So I got the best of the best, and the girls from the school, and it's soccer, softball, it's whatever basketball, but I'm very the coach is supporting them and allowing them to participate in the sport.
Jenna, I don't think you guys were too modest about what your goals are. You guys want to play in the city championship game. Do you guys talk about that every day, or is that a kind of day? Is the approach week by week, game by game, or is the eventual goal we want to be in the city final and you guys talk about it?
We do want to be in the city final, but talk about it every day, and we also try to stay humble and take it every game.
Jenna, I know you're also a terrific softball player, so we wish you well in both sports. Coach, thanks for coming on. Hopefully we'll see you down the road. We're covering the championship game. In fact, we're going to have both Division I and the Open Division here in the middle of November. Hope to see you at Birmingham High School, and thanks for being with us, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks for having us, Randy. Have a great evening. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much for thinking of San Pedro High School.
It's our pleasure. You guys take care. They're a definite threat in the city section.
I think I like how they lost earlier in the year to a team and then got better and beat that team. I really, really like that. That tells me that team that they're getting better, and I think that's really important.
And the coach talked about that. He's thrilled at the improvement of his Pirate team. All right, let's get to our CIF Southern Section top football rankings, the top 10. These are Tarek's top 10, and I always go with what Tarek says. So we'll go with Modern Day number 1. That's not a shock. He has Centennial number 2. Okay. Bosco, Sierra Canyon, unbeaten, and Poly. Then the back 5, Rancho Cucamonga, Mission Viejo, J. Serra, Murrieta Valley, Serra Gardena back into the top 10.
I think the difference is this past week where Murrieta Valley was at 10, they move up a little bit. They got Bear Bachmeyer, the quarterback. Gardena Serra, that's the team I'm really interested to see how they grow, because the one game left on their schedule is against Sierra Canyon. How close will that game be? Will they make it a game? Can they win that game? I think that game will determine the Mission League champions. So if they do win that game, you'll see them climb. All
right, time for some great performances, and we had a few. I know this first guy you saw play at Palos Verdes, Ryan Rakowski. He's just a freshman. And the game he had against Santa Monica, the yards, not mind-boggling. A lot of people throw for 233 and 4 touchdowns. Well, maybe not the 4 touchdowns. 11 for 11. That's great accuracy.
Efficiency, yeah. I think that was a game in the Bay League, if I'm not mistaken. And that was pretty much the whoever won that game was going to get the inside track for the league championship. So I think Palos Verdes has a really good chance to maybe stay unbeaten the rest of the way.
Wyatt Becker, business as usual, big game. We talked about the win over Notre Dame. He was the trigger man there. Husan Longstreet, he was a transfer, came in from Inglewood. Everyone thought he was going to have a big year. Has not had the great year, but he had a big game, and maybe this is him pushing through and starting to understand that Centennial offense.
Yeah, Centennial's in a better league now, and they are going to be tested later in their year. They used to just kind of run through their league. Now they're in a tougher league. I will say this, Corona Centennial's only 2 losses this year. I have to bring it up. Mater Dei, number 1 in the country, and Gorman, number 2 in the country.
1A.
Yeah,
Gorman's 1A.
100%. I totally agree.
Luke DePerno had a great game at West Ranch. He rushes for, I think it's like 258. I'm going to see the number. There it is, 258, and 5 touchdowns and a win over Hart. Luke's a pretty good football player.
Wildcats are the defending Foothill League champions, I think 2 times the last 2 years. I don't know if they'll get it this year. I think Valencia will be back on top.
There's Shane Rosenthal. He's the only one up there in a losing effort, but there was nothing losing about what he did. I mean, 12 receptions, close to 300 yards, 3 scores in the loss to Moore Park.
Yeah, he's the number 1 target for Newbury Park. Obviously, they have the quarterback, Brady Smigel.
And obviously, we have a couple new guests to talk to. Taft High School is going to be in our game tomorrow against El Camino Real live at 7 o'clock. We have the coach, Fred Emmerson from Taft. He's got a tough assignment. El Camino beat his team, although he wasn't there a year ago. El Camino won that game. And his fine receiver, Lior Leshem. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Coach, good to see you. Good to talk to you again. Lior, you're having a great year. It's going well. All right, Fred. I'm anxious to see this air raid offense. What are we looking at tomorrow? How are you going to get it done?
Listen, El Camino is a really, really, really good team. But we're gonna just be who we are. We're gonna be aggressive. We're gonna try to get our athletes in space, and we're gonna try to, get a lot of plays going off and kind of attack them the best way we can.
Why do you believe in that offense, throwing the football on almost every down? Why do you think that's the best thing for your Toreadors?
So, I love to run the ball too, but I just feel like you kind of have to morph your offense as a coach to the strength of your team. And we have a very, very strong group of receivers. We have a great running back too, Michael Mansoray. But one thing I've noticed when I was at Kennedy last year, the city section is really run heavy. So my thinking is, come in with a different energy, different style of play, and see how teams adjust to it.
Lior, you had a record-setting game. I believe it was 8 touchdowns. What was going through your mind at touchdown 4, 5, 6? It's just, those are mind-boggling numbers in themselves, but to kind of keep going, can you walk us through approaching 8?
Yeah, so the first 3-4 touches of the game were big plays, big touchdowns. So at a certain point we were like, let's just feed the ball to this kid. And that's just what Fred called. That's what Devin gave me the ball to, and I just honestly just took it and ran. Devin had a perfect game.
So is there an element of it where listen, I know how any teenager that tells me, oh, I didn't know how many points I had or how many touchdowns I had, sure. So you knew how many touchdowns you had, but at any point, there was no point where you thought you had to stop or you just wanted to keep going. Was there any part of you that felt like it was like overkill, or you wanted to maybe ask, like, hey, let's throw someone else the ball? I think it's impressive you keep wanting the ball. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we were talking about on the sideline, like, hey, let's try to feed some other guys. We were telling Devin, but it was kind of just one-play touchdowns. There's not much we can do. But, yeah, no, definitely around 6, we were like, okay, let's try to get the ball moving. But they never adjusted the defense, and they kept scoring on offense, so we had to keep going.
Makes it fun, those high-scoring games. Hopefully we'll have one of those high-scoring games tomorrow night. It'll be back and forth. Maybe have a finish like last week's El Camino-Rael Chatsworth game, a little dramatic stuff in Woodland Hills. Coach, let's talk about the game tomorrow night. That's the game we're going to have on TV. I know you're paying great respect to El Camino. You already mentioned they have a fine team. What do you need to do to knock them off? Because Zabalik is 2-0 against the Taft Toreadors since he's been at El Camino-Rael.
So I respect them majorly. But one thing about me is I embrace and I enjoy and I actually have fun with rivalry situations. That's probably the Columbus, Ohio in me.
Okay.
So when I first got this opportunity, one of the very first things I told the group of kids was, we haven't beaten them since 2008 or 2009 or something crazy like that. I have the exact number of days. The kids know that as well. I won't say it yet, but that was on our list of things to do. So it's not just a 1-week study. We've been studying and preparing for this game throughout the summer. When the season started, we were focused on our opponent, but they're always in the back of our mind because it's the battle for Woodland Hills. So we have the utmost respect for them, but I think the skills we have, our new systems, and how we want to attack, I think we can have success. I think it's going to be a hard 4-quarter game, but I feel very confident that we can have success.
I want to get this to Lior. You get a new offense in there. You have a new coach. At what point did you realize, hey, this air raid offense, I'm getting the ball all the time. This is really fun. When did it hit you that you said to yourself, I'm going to have a great senior year?
Honestly, it was probably during practice. A lot of my practices last year, I was working on blocking for the running back. But the second we got to practice and we just kept throwing the ball, I'm like, man, I love this coach. And then we got into the first game against Westlake, and I think on that first drive, I had 3 or 4 targets and a touchdown. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to get the ball a lot this year.
Coach, is it the air raid offense? I know we're kind of hammering on it. However, I kind of feel like it's a basketball coach that says we're going to push the tempo. We're going to shoot a lot of threes. A lot of kids get excited when they hear about that in basketball at least. Is the air raid offense kind of the speed and the tempo at which it's played. Would you compare it with that same excitement of maybe a basketball coach wanting to get up and down a little more?
100%. It's the offense where if you have a talented, say you have a talented basketball player on campus who's super tall and all that stuff, you can go to that kid and say, hey, you're going to be doing a whole bunch of jump balls, catches in the end zone, and having fun. I'm not going to ask you to block all the time. And I think that's why, last week we had 80 plays offensively. So the kids are realizing, man, the ball is spreading around, is getting to, one weekend could be one kid's night, another weekend could be another kid's night. I just realized they see, and we try to keep things fun and the energy up. But the tempo, pushing it, letting them play freely, playing space. It's just, I think it's a huge equalizer when you're going against a lot of teams that are so, run heavy and try to stop the run. That's, adding a little different twist to it.
Last question. Is there going to be a trophy there tomorrow night? It is the battle for Woodland Hills supremacy. Is there going to be a trophy?
So, yes, we're working on it right now, but we are going to start a trophy for this game, and winner will get the keeper for the year, and it's going to go back and forth, or, you keep it whenever you win. But me and the coach agreed to that this week. I'm not going to say too much about it because we kind of want to unveil it pre-game, but yeah, we will have a trophy for this game.
Lior, are you confident you're going to get a victory tomorrow night?
We just got to push ourselves to the best of our abilities. We've been preparing this game for a while. We were ready.
All right, that's what I want to hear. Lior, Coach Fred, thanks for being with us. It's a lot of fun. We'll see you tomorrow night. Make sure you have a ticket for me so I can get in. I want to see the game.
Have a good one.
All right, thanks for joining us. Good people. He's going to build that program. They're not a great football team yet. Both teams tomorrow night are 2-4, let's be honest. But they're both programs that are growing. It's going to be a competitive game, and it should be a lot of fun.
Well, I think when we look at the trimmings of what Taft has, new coach, new arena, new stadium, new field, new everything. When it comes to football, I know the locker rooms and the weight rooms have been redone in the last couple of years. So it's a good time for the Toreadors to be good.
Taft is not in the top 10. El Camino Real is not in the top 10, but we're going to show you the top 10 in the LA City section. Number 1 is Birmingham after they trounced Granada Hills last week, 31-0. We're impressed with Carson. I'm sure Tarek will talk about it because we saw him last week play in person. Garfield's still on a roll, 6 in a row. Gardena jumps to number 4. They should have been there earlier, but I won't hold that against Tarek. Dimalee's 5, Pally 6, Granada a little bit down now after the loss last week to 7, but not too much. Banning, Franklin, and Cleveland.
So Gardena knocked off San Pedro. So that's why I gave them, in high school football, look, you knock off another team, you get to lily pad above them. So Gardena is unbeaten. They're in the top 5. Dimalee, I know you were kind of giving me some crow. What is it? You got to eat crow for that. They are a team that is on the rise, and they only have one loss, and it is to San Pedro. So they're right there, and they have a big game against Crenshaw. If they win that game, they have an inside track to win the Coliseum League. And I'm telling you right now, Randy, if they win that game and they win the Coliseum League, they're going to be in the Open Division.
Yeah. Speaking of games tomorrow, and that is a big game tomorrow, let's take a look at some of the games that will be on the calendar. El Camino Real at Taft, that's obviously a big game for us. We're going to have it live on LA 36 at 7 o'clock. I won't make a prediction on that one since I'm on the call. Who do you like?
Oof.
I put you on the spot.
Oh, man, that is a total pick-em.
Okay, we'll stay with that.
No. Let's go. We got time. It's only 9:24. Let me think.
You're not supposed
this.
to give away secrets. It's like my collar thing.
You know what? I'm going to go with my initial gut was ECR, so I'm going to go ECR.
Okay.
Yeah.
As good as any. You got a 50-50 shot. Let's take a look at some of these other games. This isn't a 50-50 shot. JSerra's outstanding.
They are.
They're not in the league of Mater Dei.
No, yeah, Mater Dei is probably going to win that game, but hey, good for JSerra. Give it a shot.
And the quarterback Brown last week, Elijah Brown, had a big game for Mater Dei. Servite at St. John Bosco. I'll repeat myself. Servite is really good. They have no chance against St. John Bosco.
Servite has a better chance of beating St. John Bosco than they did Mater Dei. So I don't think that game will be as lopsided.
What, 4 touchdowns?
So it was 49-0. Mater Dei, I'm just saying 49-0 was Mater Dei Servite. That game could be 35-7.
All right. You guys were right. Let's go to the next game. St. John Bosco is going to win. Etiwanda's 6-1 at Rancho Cucamonga. This is a really good game.
Yeah, baseline league. So Etowanda tripped up last week, lost to Chino Hills. Chino Hills was expected to finish last in that league, and they knock off Etowanda. Everyone was surprised by that. Damien beat Upland, and so here's Rancho and Etowanda. I don't expect Rancho to stumble. They are a very, very good team.
Damien, you just mentioned them. They've already beaten a Damien from out of state.
Correct.
Damien beat Damien. So they're 7-0, but Chino Hills is talented.
So now what happens is Chino Hills beat Etowanda, so there's no surprises now. Damien's not gonna, they're not gonna waltz in there and be complacent. They're gonna be ready for Chino Hills. I think Damien will win that game.
Agoura and Newberry Park. I know, Tarek, you're going to this game
So
tomorrow.
I think I'm gonna go. I want to check out a couple players from Agoura, but Newberry Park is coming off a tough loss. I think they have more talent, but Agoura, that's that neighborhood team, man. They are thick as thieves. That'll be a great game. That's a toss-up, too.
Granada Hills is the favorite at Cleveland, but I'm not so sure here. I think the Cavaliers have a chance to knock them off. I really do.
Give me the
Corey
Cavs.
Hall is really great for Cleveland.
Give me the Cavs. I
we agree
like
on
Cleveland to finish second in the West Valley.
Yeah, Randy and Tarek are in agreement. Corey Hall, superior all-around player, should have a great game. Oh, we want to remind you, next Wednesday, 7 o'clock, we have our friends from Prep Sports Night Live at 7 o'clock, 1 hour. Rich Estrella, Bob Gibson, they do a terrific job.
I watch it every week.
I know you do. You watched a replay last week because they didn't have a new show. I was upset.
I watch it every week, and then I go back and watch. It's an amazing show.
Next week they have a new show. Those guys do a great job. All right, want to mention quickly basketball. Isaiah Elohim, phenomenal player at Sierra Canyon. He's only a junior going into his senior year. He's got 1 year left for the Trailblazers. Today committed to Arkansas.
He's going to play for Eric Musselman. You know, you're talking about a top 15, top 10 sometimes program. It's a great pick. By the way, he picked Arkansas over Villanova and Kansas. Hey, good luck to him. Great
mid-range game. He can knock down shots.
He does have kind of an old school game. He's kind of a bigger guard with broad shoulders. He'll get you to about that elbow mid-key area, and he'll knock it down.
I want to get this in, running out of time here, but the state football games on December 8 and 9 are going to be at 3 different locations: El Camino College, Pasadena City College, Saddleback College, and Mission Viejo. We got 15 games. Now, last year they had weather issues on some of these neutral field games with rain and stuff. Some of the coaches complained. So now all the games, all 15, are going to be played over the 2 days at 3 really nice facilities.
Right, so the whole thing is all-weather.
Yeah, equality.
Correct, like all-weather field, so there's no complaints about mud or facilities. Everyone literally will play on turf that is well-equipped for any type of weather, rain, snow, sleet, whatever the case may be.
I didn't want to really end the show this way, but I think I will. Myra Einberg passed away recently. There she is. She's a graduate of Hamilton High School in 1969, an LA City Section Hall of Famer. She got that Venice logo on there and the great smile. She was a great golf coach there, won some city championships, won a city championship as a volleyball coach. Sweet lady. She's in the Jewish Hall of Fame as well as the LA City Section Hall of Fame. So the LA City Section lost a great person.
I think when you look at the city section, there is so much greatness in it. Athletes, coaches, media members, and I know she passed away suddenly, so the section has a heavy heart right now.
Yeah, really do. Well, we got to get back to other things. We got to promo that one game tomorrow night. That's going to be a great football game. In fact, I can tell you what Jason Zabalik told me. I probably shouldn't say this. The coach of El Camino said, we're going to win it 42-35. Now, whether he's right or wrong, I don't know. But that means he believes there's going to be a lot of points. I think if you mentioned it to Fred, he would say.
He would say the same.
We're going to have a lot of points. He'd probably have Taft ahead, 42-35. It's going to be that kind of game tomorrow night.
Yeah, I don't know who to give the edge to, but I think ECR is going to find a way to win it. I think they've got kind of this newfound confidence after really, it's one thing to win a game on an offensive play. It's actually another to win it on a defensive play, right?
How often do you see a walk-off defensive play?
It's rare, right?
It's very rare.
There's this newfound confidence. They're coming off a league win. Now they go to a rival. I think ECR is feeling good about themselves. Give me the Royals.
Yeah, and Jong had 2 touchdown catches, including the big one, to give him the lead in the last 3 minutes than the great goal line stand. Tarek, that's going to wrap it up.
Another great show, Randy.
It was fun. Thank you to all my guests. Too many to mention. We'll be back again next Thursday, live at 9 o'clock, right here on LA 36. Good night, everybody. I like the table. They changed the configuration.
Well, you know, when I move the furniture around, things tend to
Look at that. You can see. You see how they got it right over here?
Yeah, it used to be vertical.
It was
now
vertical.
Put my feet on it like
Yeah,
this.
it's very comfortable when you have your feet up, isn't it? You like it. I like it.
Lazy boy.
That was good.